I like life. It's good. And when you like your job, you're gonna like your life more because, like I said in that video, you spend so much time there, you better freaking like it. And then to go into that job and be like, you suck. And every day to tell myself, you suck, Zoe, I hate you, you suck, you suck, you suck. Yeah, it's gonna take a long time to rebuild that. What has changed so much is before, being a consultant and working at the Big Four was my identity. It was everything to me. I really thought that that was who I was. I was a management consultant. I worked at XYZ firm. And when it wasn't going well, it was like I wasn't going well. I wasn't doing well because my job was my identity. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be 1 year since I filmed the I quit my job, leaving management consulting, leaving Big Four video. It's been a year since I uploaded that video. It's been a little bit more than a year since I quit. And in today's video, I want to go over what I've learned, what's changed, and just sort of digest everything that's gone down since a year ago. First off, let me say, I'm sorry if I clickbaited you with the title. I didn't mean to, I just didn't know what else to call it. So no, I didn't quit my job now. I am referring to the video I uploaded a year ago titled, I quit my job, leaving management consulting, parentheses, emotional. So there's a good chance that that video is how you actually found me as a YouTuber. That is the most viewed video on my channel. I think it is one of my most raw videos, and I think it's what really solidified my niche as a YouTuber. So honestly, I'm so grateful for that video. Comment down below if that video is how you found my channel. I would love to know. For anyone who's like, what the heck are you talking about? I will link the video down below. You probably want to watch that one before you watch this one. Otherwise, nothing I say will make any sense. But it's just, that video was so defining for me in so many ways. And I'm just really happy to be able to sit here a year later and tell you guys about what I've learned, how things have changed, because I know so many people related to that story. And I just want to talk about how 1 year later, how much better everything is, how, you know, nothing's perfect, but just hopefully this video can be helpful and inspiring for anyone who's gone through a similar situation to know that a year is actually not that long, and you can come out so much better off 1 year later from a really, really sucky situation. Okay, so I have some notes to read off of, but in typical Zoe fashion, I just want to kind of ramble and be honest with you guys and just let you in on everything that I'm feeling. And let me tell you, watching that video again, I've gone back and watched it a few times, but watching it again, it's been a while, was so eye-opening. And honestly, I'm really proud of myself. Like, a lot of the times, you know, you look back a year later and you're like, oh my God, like my filming was bad, my editing, my this, my that, my talking. But I think that video was really well done. I'm like, good job, Zoe. So whatever. Okay, so let me walk you guys through, basically, I'm gonna walk you through like a timeline of everything that has happened since then, and then I'm gonna go into like emotionally how things are different, career-wise how things are different, and just how that video had an impact on me and how leaving the Big Four had an impact on me. So since that video was uploaded, that video I filmed on the very first day of my new job. I am still at that new job, and the craziest thing is on the third day of that new job, so Wednesday, March whatever it was, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic. On the Thursday, I went into work and the office was a ghost town, and on Friday they said, don't come into the office today, don't come in on Monday, and the rest is history. So I started a new job 2 days before the pandemic. How insanely lucky is that? I am still at that job. I am quite happy there. So this is also the 1 year anniversary of my new job. So career-wise, things are going well. You know, I think a big fear I had, and a big fear a lot of other people had for me, was that like my career would just suck after the Big Four. I can tell you I'm doing really well at my new job. Can I say this on camera? I'm up for promotion in a year. And we'll talk about that. Obviously, life is so different 1 year later because we are still living in this COVID reality, and who could have predicted that, right? Who could have even predicted that? And that is where I want to start off this video. I never in a million years would have guessed that COVID would have hit. But here's the thing. Had I stayed at that job to hit the 1 year mark or even the 6-month mark, I don't think I would have been able to leave, because I either A, would have gotten fired because of COVID, because I don't think they liked me very much at that job, or I would have had to stay because no one was hiring. So I just think that shows that how powerful listening to our intuition is, because had I ignored my intuition, had I stayed, I'd probably still be stuck there. I got into my new job at the exact right moment, to the freaking day, okay? So if that doesn't speak to how powerful our intuition is, I don't know what does. So the first takeaway is, guys, and that was the takeaway of that video, you need to listen to your gut feeling. You need to listen to your intuition. If something is telling you to leave, you need to listen and you need to leave. I cannot imagine how miserable I would be being stuck on freaking Zoom. Like, if I was stressed out in the office, imagine how stressed out I would be over Zoom. And I've actually heard that because like there was so many cuts at the Big Four, that the hours people are working are even longer, that things are even more competitive and stressful. And I just know I would have crumbled in an environment like that. So I am so glad. That is just like, it just shows to me that I really made the right decision. So we're very grateful for that. The next thing I want to talk about is, since uploading that video, I get messages almost every single day of people saying how much that story resonated with them, how much nobody talks about the fact that Big Four work environments can be extremely toxic, and how many people went through an almost exactly similar situation to me. I think I've received over like hundreds and hundreds of messages saying, thank you for sharing your story. I went through the same thing. Nobody talks about it. And I kind of like that I've become this like voice of the like Big Four, because nobody's saying it. They are still so glamorized. And what's crazy to me is I still get emails of people being like, yeah, I saw your video. Can you help me get a job at the Big Four? And I'm like, why do you want to go work there? Like, but I'll still help you. Like, I know what to do to get in. I do not know what to do to thrive there. I have learned some lessons that I think, you know, in hindsight, if I were ever to be put back in that situation, I would know what to do better. But anyway, we're getting off track. The point is so many people have experienced something similar. It blew my mind. Like, we always think we're unique in our problems. We always think we're special. And to know that hundreds and hundreds of other young people out there are experiencing the same thing is really gratifying, to know that like you're not alone. So if you're still in a situation like that, just know that you're not alone, and you will get that feeling inside when the time is right to leave. Okay, so when I rewatched the video, the biggest thing that kind of stuck out to me was, you know, yeah, there was a lot of unfairness and a lot of little things that really mattered to me at the moment. All of those little things don't matter to me anymore. Like, when I look back and I'm like, oh, they fired me off the project, I'm like, oh, whatever. But the overall thing that has changed, right? Because those little events, they don't stick with us. But what has changed so much is, before, being a consultant and working at the Big Four was my identity. It was everything to me. I really thought that that was who I was. I was a management consultant. I worked at XYZ firm. And when it wasn't going well, it was like I wasn't going well. I wasn't doing well, because my job was my identity. And you know, I said in the video, like, I thought about work on the weekends. I thought about work after work. Not a second went by where I could be present in the moment, because I was always thinking about work. For 5 months, I did not have a weekend where I wasn't thinking about work. I wanted to be silly and make TikToks with my friends, and I was worried that someone from work would see it and comment on it. Like, that's how much the Big Four ingrains themselves into your identity, because you have to live and breathe work because of all the freaking propaganda they feed you. And it's just insane. Like, you know, you go in for that onboarding week and it is pure freaking propaganda about you're so great and we're so great and everybody's so great and this is your life, so give us everything you have. And I did. Like, I gave them everything. I gave them all my time. And something I've learned is, all we have in the world is time. You've got money, you've got this, you've got that. Time is the most important thing. So you better like whatever you're giving your time to. And I was giving all of my time to my job, and it was my identity. And I didn't like my job, therefore I didn't like my identity. I didn't like myself. And here we are, a year later. First of all, my job is no longer my identity. My job is something I do. Most days I enjoy it. I make videos about it. I like my job, but it's not who I am. I have so many other things that I love to do that I fill my time with. And when I'm not working, I'm not thinking about work. Like, there's times when I have the occasional stress dream. There's times when I think, oh yeah, on Monday I gotta do this. But when I'm detached, I'm allowed to detach because that's my job. Like, that's my job and this is my life, and I am Zoe and I am someone else. I am not Zoe the tech consultant. I am not Zoe who works at this firm. I'm just Zoe, and I'm so proud of myself. And it didn't happen overnight. It's not like I quit my job and then boom, like I got myself back. It took a freaking year to find myself again, but I'm just so glad that I did. So I just want to spend a minute going back in time, because I remember I used to go to spin class. Spin was like my happy place. And I would be thinking about work in the middle of a spin class and I wouldn't be smiling. And like, it was kind of like my thing. Like, I'm a smiley person, and the teachers used to be like, oh, Zoe, I love having you in my class because you're always smiling. But the worse work got, the less I was smiling in spin class. And I can't go spinning right now, but I can tell you I'd be smiling for sure. So that's how you know that something's wrong, that like doing your favorite activity, you're not even smiling because you're not all there. Like, that's just so messed up. The other thing was, because I was so miserable, all I did was go shopping and drink. And I mentioned that in the video. My finances were a mess. And a few months after, quitting the job, I can say that I've been able to get my finances back on track. I mean, I still slip up. You guys know, you see it in my videos. But I'm so much better than I was before. And it's just because I'm happier. Like, I don't need to fill my life with like as much, because I still have my issues, but I don't need to fill my life with as much superficial shit, because again, it's like I like myself better because myself is not this Big Four consultant who like sucks. Like, I sucked as a Big Four consultant. Interrupting quickly to let you guys know that today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, you guys know already that I am a huge advocate for therapy. I think everybody can benefit from therapy, but not everybody can afford it. It's super expensive. I know that firsthand, which is why I myself switched to BetterHelp. I've been using them for many, many months. I've been a paying customer and I absolutely love them. Now, during the time that I was going through this really hard time at work and I was thinking about quitting my job, I was speaking with a therapist, and what was awesome is that she was an unbiased opinion, and she was able to guide me from a perspective that my friends and my parents couldn't give, because they really had my personal interest like with their own biases in mind. So my therapist was able to guide me purely from a factual point of view and from knowing me, how she knows me in our therapy. She was able to guide me, and there were a few times where it wasn't quite the right moment for me to quit, and she did talk me off the ledge, and then she guided me when it was time to quit and helped validate that I had made the right decision. Perhaps when my parents were freaking out, she was able to be a calm, reassuring voice. So I'm so, so grateful for that. So whether you're going through a hard time at work, whether you're struggling with anxiety or depression, anything like that, BetterHelp can seriously help you guys out. It has helped me immensely in so many areas of my life, not only with the job like I just talked about, but with my family relationships, with my anxiety. So I really, really love it, and I genuinely recommend it. What I love about BetterHelp is that it's on your phone. Right now, pretty much all therapy is virtual, but I never thought I would enjoy virtual therapy as much as I do, because you just sit down on your couch, you don't have to move, you don't have to dress up, you don't have to leave the house, and you get to talk with someone who is comforting, who understands you, and who is there to support you. So how it works is you take a quiz to be matched with a licensed counselor, you enter all of your concerns, and they help match you with someone who specializes in those areas. Now, it can take a few tries before you find the right match. It's not always on the first click that you really click with your therapist. So another good thing about BetterHelp is that you can easily switch therapists within the platform if your first one wasn't a match for you. It's important to note that BetterHelp is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's truly licensed therapy and licensed counseling. You can access it from anywhere in the world, even when you're traveling, even, any situation. I really think it's awesome. And the best part is that it is affordable. So BetterHelp is already super affordable. I think I've mentioned this in other vlogs, but when my insurance ran out and I couldn't afford the cost of traditional therapy, that's when I turned to BetterHelp, and I absolutely loved it. With my link down below, you guys can get a discount on BetterHelp services. I think they're really, really awesome, and let me know if you guys give it a try and how you like it. All right, let's get back to the video. Okay, so I want to talk now about anxiety and imposter syndrome. This is still something I struggle with. It's not gone by any means, but it's a million times better. Like, I haven't had a day where I've been like paralyzed to get out of bed in a very long time. That feels amazing. I don't go to bed thinking about work, like I said, like that's just so much better, but it really did take time for that to go away. Like I had to unlearn so many things. I had to teach myself again that I was smart, that I was valuable, that I could be a good worker. And it really took a long time. All summer, I had terrible anxiety. I was scared that I was gonna get fired. I was scared that I sucked. Like I still had that really negative self-talk. And I wanna say it wasn't until like mid-January that I got rid of it. So it pretty much took almost a year for me really to shed those feelings of anxiety and rebuild my self-confidence. Because if you watch the video, the thing that I say over and over again is how deteriorated my self-confidence was, and it really took a long time to rebuild it. I'm so happy that I've gotten to the point that I'm at, and I can't wait to continue building my self-confidence, continue building my professional skills. But you know, a year, wow, it took a year to undo that damage. And I left university a pretty confident person. Like I was really good at case competitions, I had good grades, I was a good student, I was involved, like I thought I was the shit, honestly. And then to go into that job and be like, you suck, and every day to tell myself, you suck, Zoe, I hate you, you suck, you suck, you suck. Yeah, it's gonna take a long time to rebuild that. So imagine, I stayed in that job 6 months. It took a year to rebuild my self-confidence. Imagine I had stayed longer. Imagine I had been there 3 years. What, would it have taken 6 years to rebuild my self-confidence? Like, thank God I got out when I did. So I mentioned before, I want to talk a little bit more about career and finances. So when I left, I had a coworker say to me, are you gonna be okay financially? Like your apartment's pretty expensive. And I was like, what the heck? And here's the thing. People think that Big Four is like the be all end all of jobs. They think it's the best for your career. They think it's the best financially. I'm gonna be fully transparent. I make more money now than I did at the Big Four. I make more money now, and I'm better with my money because I'm happier. And yes, I can afford my rent. Thank you very much. Career-wise, I have so many opportunities in the world. Tech is a booming industry, and whenever I look on LinkedIn, I see jobs that match my skills. I see their salaries, they are great. Like, I know that I'm going to have a successful career. 1, because I trust myself. 2, because I'm in a good job. Big Four is not the be all end all. And I know so many people, even if you're watching this and you're a student and you're like, I gotta get a job at the Big Four, I gotta become a consultant or else, you're gonna be fine. You do not need the Big Four to like go somewhere in life. You can make more money outside of it. You can have a great career outside of it. It is not the end of the world. Really exciting. Last week I repaid all of my student debt. I am saving up to buy a car. I just put in the thing saying I'm gonna have a parking spot in my building. Like, I've just come so far a year later, and it's because I let go and I trusted myself, and like, I'm so proud of myself 1 year later. I like who I am. I like who I'm becoming. And I'm proud of myself that I stood up for myself and I filmed that video, because that was freaking scary. That was so scary to expose myself and to expose my job like that on the internet, and then to have it blow up and have 200,000 people see it and comment on it and comment mean things. People commented like, you're stupid, you don't deserve that job. People commented such mean things on that video. And at first it bothered me, it really did. But now I'm just like, oh, you mad? You jealous? So anyways, I'm not trying to flex on myself, and like, I am patting myself on the back because I'm proud, but I just want to say, like, all it takes is a year to completely turn your life around from such a bad situation. Like, I was so depressed. I was in such a bad place. And even with a pandemic, I turned my life around. And it wasn't easy. I haven't been this happy the whole time. But 1 year later, I can sit here and say I'm damn proud of myself. I did the right decision. Okay, so now I want to talk about some of the perks of my new job that did not exist in Big Four, and how I think these weird aspects are like just a Big Four thing, honestly. So the first thing I talked about was coffee chats, and how much I hated them. Guess what? I don't have to do freaking coffee chats at my new job. Like, you don't have to schmooze for a project at my new job. Like, that's the messed up thing about Big Four consulting, is like, you have to fight for projects. Like, why would I fight for work? Like, I'm an employee. Just give me the work. At my current job, it's like, you've got the certification, you've got the experience, boom, you're on this project. Like, they do the staffing for you because that's not my job. My job isn't to staff myself on projects. My job is to deliver great work to my clients. And I do that, right? Someone else takes care of the staffing, someone whose job it is. So that is so much better. I think that's a much healthier work dynamic. It doesn't leave me staring at my ceiling at night being like, what project am I gonna be on? Like, I trust that my company is going to find the work for me, and they trust that I'm going to deliver the work. And I think that's a very healthy employee-employer relationship. The next thing is, I am not afraid to ask for help. And this one I had to unlearn. I was so afraid at the beginning of this job to ask for help because I thought it would make me look weak. And I thought if I asked for help, then I was a loser, then I was stupid. That's imposter syndrome, and that needs to be unlearned. But now, you know, when I watched back the video, I said in the video, like, you know, they were always like, don't bother your manager. My manager wants me to bother her now because she wants me to ask her questions. And it's not a bother, it's her job to help me. So I think that's amazing. The other thing about my new job is they don't care that I have a YouTube channel. In fact, they like it. They encourage me to have hobbies. They encourage me not to say anything dumb on camera and not to disclose confidential client information. But they like that I have a hobby. They like that there are other parts to me besides work, which is the complete opposite of Big Four, who told me, we don't like this YouTube channel of yours. The other thing that is so good about tech consulting in my new job is there's no BS Monday to Thursday travel. I can work from home whenever I want, and I'm talking outside of COVID here. I can work from home whenever I want. Travel is like 2 days, 3 days max. It's not as frequent. So I can have a life. I can be a part of a spinning gym that I love. I can have a dog. I have a dog now, you guys. And she is so special, and I love her, and I wouldn't have her if I was a Big Four consultant still. I just feel like I can have a life outside of work now, and I can have a personality outside of work now, and that is so important to me, and I think that should be important to everyone. Just because you don't want work to be your whole life does not mean you don't care about your career. I care about my career very much. I care very much about being successful, about being a good worker, and I am still allowed to be a dumbass and make TikToks and make YouTube videos and have a dog and have a life and laugh on the weekends without thinking about work. I'm still allowed to do all of those things and be successful. And I think I'm proving that. Like, I think, you know, a lot of people were worried about me when I quit, and I hope I'm showing them that they didn't need to be worried. I was worried too, and there's nothing to worry about. I feel very secure in saying that. Okay, I want to give a little bit of feedback too. So I mentioned it took me almost a year to rebuild my self-confidence, and the pivot point for me of rebuilding that self-confidence was when I had my performance evaluation and I got a pretty good review from my manager. Before that, I hadn't asked for feedback. I was always terrified to ask for feedback. Now, in hindsight, I wish I had asked for feedback sooner because, like I said, that was the pivoting point for me. And so I think had I asked for feedback and heard that good feedback sooner, I would have been able to shed those feelings of insecurity. So if you are experiencing anxiety and imposter syndrome at work, ask your manager for feedback, or your peers. It will really go a long way. I know it's scary, but I guarantee you're doing better than you think you are. And if you're doing bad, you want to hear it so you can fix it, right? So take it from me, ask for feedback sooner than later. Okay, so I want to close on this message, and this kind of occurred to me the other day. When I left Big Four, I spent months resenting it, and I spent months thinking, oh my God, like I would tell my friends, I'd be like, well, at work they used to say this to me, and at work they used to do that to me, and it was so terrible. And it's like when you break up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and then you like hate them, and you just want to talk about how much you hate them all the time. That's what I was with work. I wanted to talk all the time about how much I hated them, about how bad it was, blah, 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 blah. And then it stopped. And I thought of the Taylor Swift song, I Forgot That You Existed, because that is literally what happened. I forgot that they existed. And that is how you know you are at peace, when I just don't care about them anymore. You know, I used to want to look like I was successful online so that they would see me and think that I was doing well. I don't give a shit. I really don't care, you know? That's how you know. So I forgot that they existed. And by they, I just mean everybody at Big Four, no one in particular. I forgot Big Four existed. I forgot that experience existed. I don't have any resentment for it anymore. In fact, I'm grateful for it because that experience taught me what I do not want in an employer. Filming that video helped define my career on YouTube and helped set that path. And for that, I'm super grateful because YouTube is my passion. So I'm grateful for all of it. I'm glad it all happened and I'm so happy it's in the past. Like, I forgot that you existed. So in that video, I think I mentioned the fact that I had lost myself. I really felt like I didn't know who I was anymore. I felt lost. And a year later, I am so happy to say that I know who I am and I found myself again. Whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is you are going through, you can get out of it and you can rebuild yourself and feel happy again. I'm speaking quietly because I'm serious when I say that. Things will get better. Like, I never thought they would. I never thought that I would feel happy at work. I never thought that I would have a night's sleep or a weekend where I don't think about work and I'm not worried. It's Sunday right now. I gotta work in however many hours and I'm happy about it. I like life. It's good. And when you like your job, you're gonna like your life more because, like I said in that video, you spend so much time there. You better freaking like it. Okay, you guys, I think I said everything that I have to say. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me, for watching this video. If you have any questions about things maybe that have changed a year later that I didn't address, oh, my Google Home, stop. If you have any questions about things that maybe I didn't mention that you're curious about, feel free to leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe, thumbs up, all that shit. I'll talk to you all in my next video. Bye.